So this one is a more serious problem which we ignore most of the time until we see it manifest. Hey friends, welcome back. Stroke is the second leading cause of death globally, only next to myocardial infarction, which is in a layman's term a heart attack. There are over 13.5 million cases of new strokes every year, out of which 5.5 million die. More than 1 billion people suffer from post-stroke disability. These facts are not to scare you, but to make you aware on what is stroke. How can we know that we are having one so it can be treated at the earliest? So what is stroke? Stroke, or brain attack as they call, is nothing but a neurological manifestation because of cessation of blood supply to a part of brain. Let me make it simple for you. When the blood supply of the brain is decreased or gets blocked, it damages that part of brain and produces symptoms for the same. This depends on the area affected. For example, if the front part of the brain gets affected, which is called frontal area, then there will be behavioral changes. Similarly, if the center part of the brain gets affected, which is the most common by the way, then there will be one-sided weakness, etc. I'll come into the details in a bit. So stroke can be either when there is a block in the blood vessel or when there is bleeding into the tissue, out of which the first one is more common. So what are the signs and symptoms you should look out for? Stroke and its symptoms is a huge subject in and itself, but all we need to know is act fast. Yes, there was a successful campaign, the England's National Health Service, conducted in 2011, where they received 28% more emergency calls regarding the same. F stands for facial asymmetry, which is when you notice the difference between the right and left side of your face. And A stands for arm or leg weakness. This means that your arms and legs become floppy and weak. There can also be difficulty in lifting up. So S stands for speech. Suddenly one cannot speak anything or find difficulty in bringing out the words. And lastly, T stands for time to call the emergency. It's pretty self-explanatory. A stroke can have different presentations, but it will involve at least one of the above. So these symptoms can happen mostly after you wake up from sleep, but always remember, like all medical emergencies, it can happen at any time. There are other symptoms such as tingling or numbness over the lips, face, hands, or loss of sensation over one side of the body to temperature, or one can even find difficulty in walking in straight line. So always remember fast. How can you prevent the stroke? Stroke is almost similar to a heart attack. It presents when there is an excess fat deposit in the blood vessels that goes to the brain. So obesity, diabetes, hypertension, smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, and a sedentary lifestyle are the important and preventable cause. So we are all aware about the prevention by now, which is doing regular exercises along with other healthy habits. So coming to the first aid, when you see any of the above mentioned symptoms, there's nothing you can do. Calling emergency should be your number one priority. If you have unfortunately had one of the symptoms, sit in a comfortable chair and try to stay calm until help arrives. Never lift a heavy object or strain yourself, as it can worsen the situation. If a person falls unconscious after telling you these symptoms, then it is always best to put them on left side to prevent choking and call for the emergency. Early treatment is the only way to reduce permanent disability. If at all you see or hear any of these symptoms, prompt action is necessary. So stroke commonly affects the older individual, but the lifestyle now is changing that, whereas young as people around age 30 can be affected. When you see or experience any of the symptoms mentioned above, immediately call the emergency. One thing that you should never forget is to act fast. Now you know the basics about stroke and how it affects us. Now do yourself a favor and tell your parents or one you love about the fast, and you can share this video to them so it would be helpful for them as well as to me. See you in the next video. Thank you.